All right, so the next step for the first date is skin. Now you notice with Mango, she has a significant amount of redness in her cheeks, very sensitive skin. So what I'm gonna use is a product that is gonna neutralize, it's just a green. It's like a green concealer, and I'm using my finger and I'm just patting it gently through these areas. Turn towards me, thank you. And I'm just gonna pat. I'm not going to try to cover this up because you know that flush in her cheek is actually really perfect for the first date look because it does require a lot of flushing, but we don't want too much. So I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna pat, pat, pat very, very gently and just kind of tone down a little bit of that redness. And then of course I'll contradict myself and add more pink later, but exactly where I want it instead of, you know, where it wants to be. I'll also use a little bit of this just around her nose area where she tends to be a little bit red. And you notice I'm not going for total coverage with this. I'm just trying to neutralize it ever so slightly, and I'll let my foundation do the rest. The other thing that I love to do, of course, under the eye is a little bit of pink highlighter. Pink highlighter rules. So we're gonna take some pink and we're gonna brush that under her eye. Look up for me, please. And the pink is really great for keeping that darkness away from coming under the eye, making the under eye look very, very bright. So I'm just going to pat that real gently. Same thing on the other side. And I'm using my brush to really smooth this out. When you use a brush, you know, you can work in both directions, which really creates smoothness in your application. If you just brush in one direction, you don't really get that smoothness. Also notice I'm using the shape of a V as I apply this under the eye. The V goes like this and then all the way up underneath the eye. That'll help project a nice amount of light from up underneath the eye. So now I'm gonna use a foundation, a lighter foundation, a very fresh foundation, not too much. It needs to look natural, so I put a very small amount on the tip of my brush, and then I blend this just gently from the center of the face out. You see, so a little bit of that green in the red areas, and then a touch of foundation, and we get a generally smooth finish. We're not going for full coverage with this look. We're trying to make her look fresh, natural, like herself, but just a little more evened out. So when you're using your brush, please make sure that you blend everything out thoroughly before you put more product on your brush. Otherwise, you're gonna get really bad buildup. This way, just a little bit of foundation goes a really long way, and you'll achieve the effect you want, which is you want them to notice you first, your eyes and lips first, not your makeup. And so any place you might have a little bit of redness, you might want to stipple like this. See, I'm taking my brush and I'm kind of poking it. That can give you some extra coverage in areas that you don't want people to be looking at first. Just like this. So I could take my brush and I can stipple a little bit of that concealer right through this heightened red area, and then we'll just help soften it rather than wearing a heavy foundation over the whole face. So I'm going to stipple right here again. Stipple, stipple, stipple. And you see how that just gives me extra coverage just where I need it. Then I'm going to flatten that down. You can use your finger. The only thing you don't want to do is rub. You want to press and roll with your finger to make things look nice and smooth. That looks really good. Flatten it down. Turn towards me, please. Okay, good. Nice and fresh. We've softened her pink without really making her look masky. Perfect. Now, she wants this makeup to last, of course, the whole date. So we have to give her a little bit of powder, and I suggest always use powder after you use a liquid makeup. So put a little bit of powder on your brush and then just pat away. I'm patting to really set it, because if the makeup is still wet and I start to stroke it, chances are it might catch, the powder might catch into the makeup. But by doing this technique, it goes down nice and smooth, and then I can brush it down. So I dry it first by patting, and then I smooth it secondly by brushing. And there we go, that is skin for the first date. If you're watching this at MakeupGourmet.com, I've listed my current favorite products to achieve this look. Click on one and try it. If you're not at MakeupGourmet.com, go there now to see my favorite product picks for this look, as well as everything else we have to offer. How to apply, what to buy. MakeupGourmet.com.